Rouser Radio out of Lewis at 6:30 in the morning in Lewis. Wherever you are in the world, it's still 6:30 in Lewis. But check your clocks, because it's not 6:30 everywhere. Time to get out of bed. And this is Buddy from Bensound, bringing you back to life. This is Keith Hayes with Rouser Radio. As I said, out of Lewis on the almost on the south coast, not far from the seaside town of Brighton, but a nice, charming little town of 17,000 people tucked away up the River Ouse. We're here for the next half hour, so join us if you wish. Well, there we are. That's Buddy from Bensound. And as usual, we'll play you some esoteric music written by brilliant composers, but hardly or largely not known. They bung it up on the internet in the hope that some people will play it. And I just go through every morning and I just tap, tap, tap and see what we've got. And I'm as surprised as you are when some of it comes up. But I have no idea what I've got this morning because I haven't uploaded it yet. So I'll do that while we play an old favourite. Why not play an old favourite? The Lewis and Rouser. Rouser Radio is the radio arm of MiradorTelevision.com, which broadcasts out of Lewis, but as we say, we are a tiny voice to a very big audience. And you can catch us not only on MiradorTelevision.com and most of the social media outlets, but also on Roku, which gives us access to, by the time we've counted up those in the United States and those in the in the United Kingdom who have Roku, and it's just a streaming media on smart TVs, or you can get a box and plug it in. Gives us access to about 100 million people. When we check in the morning, there's about 5 of you listening. But we're getting there. It'll only take us a couple of years to reach the 100 million. And so a bit of fun, a bit of chat, hopefully. Now, it looks as if poor old Andrew is getting as mired as Meghan. Andrew and Meghan, with Harry on the sidelines almost, because Harry is trying hard to keep a decent social stance throughout all the scandal that is flying around the royal family at the moment. The Queen must be just going mad. You know, it's the younger royals, they always stepped out of line throughout the ages, but this is just something else. We've got Meghan spouting off about how she brought in £1 billion and then was cold-shouldered by the royal family. And Andrew, who looks now as if he's going to have to give evidence on the sex affair with his millionaire pal. And in between, a little bit of rustling from the very minor royals, who can't seem to keep their noses out of trouble. It's a wonderful world. I'm glad I'm not part of it. How many people wish that my prince will come. Poor old Kate. She's got the best of them, hasn't she? William seems to be fairly level-headed, but the rest are kicking up their heels. And actually, many people may say, well, why shouldn't they? I mean, after all, they're pretty good kids, really, I suppose. They're just hot-blooded. like a lot of kids nowadays. I mean, who rushed to the beach once we said that we could ease off coronavirus fears? They were all there, shoulder to shoulder, having fun. And what I think we need to worry about is, in the United States, the thing is spiking again, and some other countries. Germany is having some problems, Belgium is having some problems, and we are having problems. There are at least 30 spots, ranging from London up through the Midlands to the northern part of the United Kingdom, which are under threat again of lockdown, because the virus is spreading. And primarily, of course, there were a number of people. When I say a number of people, advocates, if you like. It's all over. You don't have to worry. Don't pay any attention to what the authorities are saying. They're only trying to keep us locked in. Well, he who laughs last, or whatever. It's a great pity, but it looks as if we're in some sort of trouble again. And I hope that I'm looking forward to it, going out tomorrow. But the chances are looking slimmer and slimmer, as we seem to be slumping back into some sort of viral infection again. Perhaps not as bad as it was, but nonetheless, if you catch it and you die, do you care whether it was as bad this time or as last time? I bumped into a pal, Aaron, yesterday, who is a well-known brewer around town, and we were talking about his pub, which is the Pelham Arms in Lewes, named after a famous family here, the Pelhams, after the Pelham Arms. And he said they wouldn't be opening for a few days yet, because he stated the obvious, which I hadn't thought of, because we got no beer. At lockdown, they just got enough supply, I suppose, to last them for the week. They were probably going to order the next week, and they couldn't or didn't, and the service had discontinued. It hasn't been able to be delivered during the lockdown, so they have no beer, and they've got to wait their turn for it to be delivered. Now, there is a slightly different situation, of course, with some of the pubs that are owned by the local brewery, Harvey's, because Harvey's has been busy making beer right throughout the thing. They've got a spring that gives them pure water. They've got a process. They've got storage. So I guess that there are some pubs that are going to be able to open, but many won't be, which means that there will be extra problems for those that do. And don't get lost in the rush, in the scramble, because I think it's going to be a madhouse. Perhaps not in a little town like this, although that's hopeful, wishful thinking perhaps, but certainly in places like Brighton, and certainly places around the country where the people will tend to go tomorrow because they want to get to the beach, they want some sun and so on and so forth. But along with that goes a good old pint of wallop. Yes, we reminded people yesterday about the word wallop. Good old pint of wallop. Good old pint of beer. Anyway, not the ideal situation, and not the happiest thing that I'm bringing to you this morning, but and I'm not anyway, because I wanted to see again. So I'm going to go to good old standby, but they're wonderful. Dandelion Charm and Birdcage. Here we go.
It was you in to the passion that burns in my heart. That's just the start, but I won't give you anything.
A great husband and wife team out of New Haven in East Sussex on the south coast of the United Kingdom. Claire and John write their own stuff, play their own stuff, and they're becoming very, very popular. So if you want to catch them while they're new and before you have to pay a fortune, now's the time to do it, because they're around and about. They do quite a few concerts in the south here, and they go to quite a few festivals. Now, the big problem, of course, has been lockdown has interfered with that, but I'm sure that they'll be back charging at the music. They were very clever, actually, because they did do some sessions on Facebook Live, which was rather nice, and the fans were able to check in and see them. And they are a terrific duo. But let's go back to the news, such as it is. And it would seem that the royals are kicking up their heels a wee bit, with particularly in the media. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, the media, they're always chasing the royals. Well, yes and no. You know, it is... news is what it means, news. We're always after something new. Nobody wants to know that I walked home safely last night. They only want to know if I fell down in the gutter and broke my neck. Mind you, there are some people that would rejoice at that. But that's what everybody wants to know. And if you secretly, you know very well, you don't want to hear the norm. You want to hear the